All right, we are live and we are you can't see me, week 9 of What Did Prince Do This Week? Let's get this party started.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody knows what we do in the beginning.
I see like the Game Boys come out.
Let's
get it.
All right. We got Realign the DJ first in the chat this morning. Those horns are so lovely.
Starting the morning off right.
Yeah. Welcome Cassandra Bradley from ATL. Welcome Tampa welcome April from Tampa. I'm all backwards. The music got me all mixed up. We got Red Cat Uprock, West Texas checking in. We got Dorothy Edwards. We got Andre Staley. We got Christina from Minneapolis. We got Nick Belden from Denver. You know, no matter what I do, somebody got to complain about it. Someone was talking about why I got to sing everything I say. I was like, really? Like,
man,
why can't I just have my...
That's how it is.
That is just how it is. Happy birthday. Happy Saturday. I'll say Saturday. Why I'm saying birthday. Sakari. I love the cymbal ride on this.
This just brings so many memories when I hear this. When it first came out, I remember my dad.
Such a great song. And what's crazy, there's no Prince involvement. This is all Eric. I think this is probably my favorite song off of, maybe. That's something on my end. I couldn't stop it. It took hours. So welcome Mila, my heart. Welcome Patrick Courthouse Notes. It's always great to have you here. Welcome Drea Dances. Welcome Kim, my timekeeper. Welcome Sister Charles. And yes, welcome back, Michael. How you be feeling?
I'm feeling a lot better. More better. I feel better. I'm glad to be back.
Awesome. We're so happy that you're back. You were missed last week, but Ricky and Celie held it down for you.
Yeah.
JJ loves Prince. Yes, JJ does the reading. When Doves Cry. That's right. Byron B, welcome. Zuzu's Paddles, welcome from Greece.
Oh, I got to give a shout out. Go ahead.
Welcome, Shalimar from Michigan. Welcome, Pupper Cat Confetti. My Prince shirts I wear, I keep spreading the word about the book club in Denver. Awesome. Go ahead.
I'm gonna give a special shout to my man Michael Ebert. Sent this painting in. Appreciate it. Dope. Just gonna go back there for all to see, sir. So thank you.
Awesome. It is a beauty.
Love it.
Welcome, Jesse. Good afternoon, Purple Politicians. Welcome, Vince from Brighton, England. Love that. Welcome, Man Ray. I love this part.
Man Ray.
Such a great song. Welcome, D. Sexy Saturday time. I like that. Okay. Welcome, Jeffrey Taylor. Positivity, yes. Let me find my butt.
What up, Jay D. Washington, Melvin?
I guess I didn't put my yes. I mean, my yes is gone. Welcome, TP. Thank you, Christina. I was like, really? And then LSQWR. Welcome, Leo. Welcome, Melvin. Welcome, Robin. Welcome, Heavily Gains. Welcome, Law.
Wow.
On my way to rip the stage.
Yes, sir.
And we got a special announcement today about an upcoming Law performance that I am super excited about, but we're going to get to that at the end of our slide deck when we talk about the Purple World. Welcome, Vanessa. Welcome. And welcome, JD, from me, even though you got your welcome from Michael Dean. Welcome, L. Michelle. Good to see you
what's
back.
good?
Michael Dean.
Good to be back.
And we got Lawrence Law Royale. Do it to it. All right. Yes, so Lady Gaga next project could be Prince inspired. I didn't really I saw that, but when it was like could, I was like, okay. I'm one of those, I don't count my chickens till they hatch. So when Lady Gaga does that Prince inspired tribute project, I would be happy to talk about it. Until now, it's just speculation. Let's see. Yes, we are very happy to see Michael is back and feeling better. Welcome, Chris Bournet. It's always a pleasure to have you here. And I don't think I've seen Megahertz here before in real time. So welcome, Megahertz, if this is your first time. And howdy, budding anarchists. I'm from the South. I love howdy. I say howdy all the time.
How do?
I'm from Alabama, Michael. That's what we say. We say howdy.
Howdy.
Yeah. Yep. And then, so who's the bass on this track? We're gonna get to that. So let's go through our slideshow real quick and do our housekeeping. And sometimes I still, after a year, I don't know how to use StreamYard. So what did Prince do this week? We're going week to week, not date to date. You can follow the detailed schedule at this QR code or this bit.ly link or bookclub.polishsolid.com. You do not need the expanded edition, but this is what we'll be reading. Expanded edition.
This is good enough to if you needed to knock somebody against the head, you could do it with
Yes, I believe in having something on hand just in case.
This is what we would call it's a good book, a thick book. When a thick book like this is also a nigga be cool book. Nigga be cool. Like,
yes, indeed, for sure. And Tracy, welcome. Yes, hold those books up. I know some of you are holding them up with us. I really appreciate that. Welcome back, Symphony.
One day we have to do like the thing where we're in a concert or something. Put your books up. Put them up.
Yeah, you know what I think what I might do is for the symposium, I'm going to ask people to bring their books, and when we do our session, we can take a photo of folks holding it up. Thank you, Michael, for that.
Represent.
Idea, just like that. Tricky. I think I have an idea from Under the Cherry Moon.
Right.
Remember that part?
An idea.
Yes. All right, and welcome, KMS 1984. And I'm a little slow today. I think it's because it's really gloomy and it's about to rain in New York, so I'm kind of chill. Wouldn't that be cute if we all, yes. So we're going to do that for sure. So these are archived on YouTube, on my YouTube channel at Polish Solid, as well as Michael Dean's YouTube channel at MDean. Please subscribe, like, and help spread the word. We really do appreciate it. And all that other jazz that people say, like
smash the likes, smash likes.
Yes, that's what they say.
If we can get 100 likes on this. I'll do the rest of this nude tour style.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, I hear you, Kim. Kim is saying, but not traveling with that extra weight now.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Good.
Maybe they have like some kind of leaflets or something like. Little,
Yeah.
everybody hold a picture,
Oh, I could print some leaflets.
like little fans, with the sticks.
Yeah. Now that would be funny. All right. Oh, I love this. Michael, you must have some healing spirits in your podcast juice. Glad to
Man,
see my brother on the mend.
yeah. Well, and since we're here, we're gonna say a special prayer and shout out because even though I got better, Gracie now has the flu, so I'm just like, it's hard to see my baby like that, but I'm
Yeah.
like, good. Anyway, let's go.
And Kenneth, happy Saturday from rainy and snowy Southern California. Wow.
It always rains and snows in Southern California. Man, you guys getting it.
Yeah. This is so funny, isn't it? The What Did Prince Do This Week church fan.
There you go.
Don't get me started. I'm thinking about church fans. Okay.
Yes, Lord.
That is a great idea, Kim. Thank you for imprinting that on my mental Rolodex. All right, hashtag WDPDTW if you want to communicate with us on social media. This is a Gmail if you want to send us anything that we can put in the slideshow or any information or any corrections, all that jazz. And then eventually when we get to the tour, we will want to hear from you, and that's how you can get in touch. Yeah, I'm really thinking about it, D. Yes. I think that's a really great idea. I got to look into it, how much it costs. But I think that's a pretty brilliant idea. All right. So the estate of Princess Rogers Nelson is not affiliated, associated, or connected with the What Did Prince Do This Week book club series. This is an independent endeavor. Basically, that's what's going on. Welcome, Ricky. Thank you so much for being here.
Big Rick. What's up?
Thank you, Prince Malik, for being here as well.
Congratulations on your new start, King. I'll be watching.
Okay. And then I love this addition from D and a matching Brother Seeley collection plate.
Hilarious. That would be fun.
Oh my God. That would be hilarious. Okay. I love Deacon Seeley. All right. So we started off today with one of my favorite songs of all time, the opening of Times Squared, which was released on Paisley Park Records in 1991. Lines is the first song, and let's look at the bass. So, I mean, these are the credits on Times Square, and I'm assuming that is a piano bass because Eric Leeds is playing all of the instruments with the exception of the drum samples. So when we get Eric back on, and I hope that we will one day, that's actually one of the questions that we can ask. It's definitely a keyboard bass. So I'm assuming that it's basically Eric Leeds, which is so funky.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and Eric Leeds production. I mean, man, he killed that.
Yeah.
When I first heard it, I'm assuming it was Prince and all that, but
yeah, and because I was like, no, Prince just isn't credited. But when he was on here last year, I specifically asked him, "Are you sure Prince isn't on this track?" He was like, "Yes, of course he's sure," because it has that feel to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I love the song. I can play it all day. So also, I wanted to kind of go back to one of our conversations from last week when we were talking about pop life, and more specifically, Jill being the old lady. So this is from an article from GQ, and this was Jill Jones's quote from that article. And Jill says, "The picture on Around the World in a Day, when he showed me the cover, he pointed out who everybody was. Jerome was the little old man with the cane. He told me Sheila was combined with Susanna with the violin, and he goes, and this is you." And it was the old maid crying with the blue dress and these horrible boots. I'm still, why was I always crying? I cried in Purple Rain. I cried in Graffiti Bridge before he cut it out. He always had me crying, and I'm crying on the cover. And then he said, I'm going to know you until the very end of this. You're going to be here. And I said, why aren't you in the picture? He said, I'm up the ladder. I'm gone. So that's a really powerful
I remember
quote
this.
and conversation. Yeah. And I found this picture of Jill on Facebook because I thought she talked about the dress in particular. But if you read, so that's Joe to the right, and it looks very much like the dress on Pop Life. And look at the boots. And with her comments, she's actually saying that Prince hated when I wore these police shoes. And so I think I might have conflated this picture because it looks so much like the dress on Pop Life that maybe she was referring to that Prince hated when she wore these kind of dresses. But I think I conflated it with the shoes, but I could be wrong because
That's interesting. I mean, I didn't think about it. That was her style though.
yeah, that was her style. Yeah.
Considering everything that what I think of Prince at that time, that does seem like a contrast. That's interesting.
Yes, very much a contrast. So, in looking at the picture to the right, which is actually Wendy, that Susanna confirmed that this is actually Wendy because I never knew this was Wendy. It looks very much like Jill's style from that time. And if Prince said that the old lady is Jill, maybe he told Doug Henders, to dress Wendy up like Jill would and like make her old lady or something like that. And I'm sure possibly I'm not going to speculate, but I just find this really really fascinating.
Yeah, looking at, and I've never thought to ask this, and I really looked at it like this, but I would love to hear Jill, like, what was the inspiration for this look? Just in a sense of, I'm assuming this is sort of coming off of, the whole 1999 Purple Rain, that whole aesthetic and style that they had. I wonder what drove her in terms of influences where she went this way and like, this is going to be my style. It's very deliberate, her hair, everything about it. I always, especially when we're younger, I always wonder like, what are the things that make us go to different looks? And once I'd be very curious of what drove her to go to that look. Was it a reaction to everything that she was before that style or something? I'm just very curious.
Or it could have just been her because I think when she was on stage, that was Prince.
True.
Me?
Yeah, maybe that's why I'm just very curious
Yeah.
because that's a style choice. I mean, I'm not hating it. I'm just like, that's dope. I
Yeah.
wonder what she was into.
Yep.
And what this would have been, what, 80s, 5, I guess.
It could have been 84, 80. It could have been 84, 85. I don't know, like when Doug actually took those Polaroids, maybe someone can check like on the auction. If you go back.
This makes me, for some reason, this makes me think of is it Molly Ringwald or something?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's the kind
Right.
of style, or whatever that style
Yeah,
is.
16 candles kind
Yeah,
of.
there you go.
Yep. Yes, Kim, I agree. I think it might have been like a workwear versus personal style. I think this was Jill. I think when she was on stage, that was Prince. So, yeah. And welcome, Just Rules. Yes. All right. So I really love that quote. Oh, no worries. You are in class.
Doc. Ain't no sorry.
We're not gonna
We ain't here cutting. You late.
Yeah. So let's see. Candace said on stage she was in costume. Would she go food shopping looking like her stage look? All right. Okay. So I just wanted to bring that up because that's one of the conversations we had last week when we were talking about Pop Life. And let's get into week 9 and our 60th episode. It's a little bit of a milestone.
60. Okay.
Yep. And so this week in 1984, Prince recorded 2 songs. What were you on to say, Michael?
I feel like I've been doing something, 60 episodes. Yeah.
We have been doing something, Michael. 60 episodes. That's nothing like to sneeze at, right? Yeah,
I'm probably about 55 or something, but technically.
Oh, no. Well, you're 60, but claim it. All right. And so 2 songs this week, 6 studio visits total. Hopefully I got that right. Yes, that is correct. So in February, because this is the week where it's February and March in 1984.
Okay.
So we start off with one of my favorite songs of all time, and I was thrilled when it was released on Purple Rain Deluxe, and that is Love and Sex.
Mm.
This version of Love and Sex is the one that I adore. I put it on repeat. Traffic Jam is another. Disco Mix is what Prince was working with on this Monday. And then on Tuesday, there was more Love and Sex. And then on Wednesday, there was a more compilation of the Apollonia 6 record. And then we move into March and we have a new song, which is probably When Doves Cry, the basic tracking, and then more When Doves Cry on Friday and more When Doves Cry on Saturday.
Yes.
So one of the videos in the accompanying playlist this week is from Peggy McCreary when she was interviewed by Sunset Sound, and she talks about how long it took them to record When Doves Cry and how it was a lot in When Doves Cry in terms of instrumentation. So we all know that Prince took out the bass, but according to Peggy, he took out a lot of other stuff as well, not just the bass. So it would be interesting to hear like I don't know what you would call it, like one of the mixes where everything was in When Doves Cry versus when he started taking stuff out. I think it would be really awesome to hear that.
That would be. I'm actually kind of surprised we hadn't heard that on the last release of that, but maybe.
Yeah. And I hope it still exists, but you never know, especially with this time, him recording over stuff, you know what I mean? Like recording over tapes and whatnot. So you just don't know if it still exists.
Yeah, well, there's things I want to say about the song, but we'll keep going.
Yeah. And let's see. All right, so let's get into our reading. Our reading is 278. Oh, but before we do, no, Amila, I don't think. No, she basically, I don't think it's from the 90s. If you remember, actually, when she released her own album, Jill Jones, which was released in 87, her hair was actually long and wavy and more brown. Like she got out of.
It's a whole different look.
Yeah, it was a whole different look. So like if you go back to a lot of the press and promotional junket that she was doing overseas, the look in that picture more aligns with that, which would be post Purple Rain, obviously. So I'm sure it's like mid to late 80s, that photo. But I'll go back to Facebook. And actually, if you go to the slide deck and click on the photo of that, it takes you to that Facebook post. And it might be more information from Jill herself about the date and stuff, because I don't remember it off the top of my head. All right.
Just let me shout out Just Rules. Thank you. We saw that. Appreciate it.
All right.
Morris Mills. I see you, Playboy.
So in the photo, if the one I'm thinking that you're talking about is basically Jill Jones, if you're talking about the photo on the same slide with the Pop Life cover is basically there. All right, so we're going to get started with our reading. We're going to turn to page 278. And I'll get this party started. Let me drink some water first, because
drink what's in that cup? Purple cup.
Stop.
Let me take a drink.
So I've said this before, but I'm going to say this again for people who do not know. I do not drink. I have never drank. I've never even had a glass of wine, and I don't intend on having one in my lifetime. I'm totally fine. Yes, that's my disclaimer. All right. So Monday, February 27, 1984, Love and Sex, Basic Tracking, as well as Traffic Jam, Disco Mix, Overdubs, Mix and Edit. I want to hear this disco mix of Traffic Jam. That sounds,
Disco mix.
yeah, that's
84. That's crazy.
yeah, I know. Like, really? And so Sunset Sound Studio 2, 9:15 a.m. to 3:45 a.m. That is a long day. If I'm reading that correctly, 9:15 a.m. to 3:45 a.m.
And that is, isn't it?
Yeah, that is insanely long. Producer Prince, artist Prince, engineer Prince, assistant engineer Peggy Matt McCreary. And because we love James Brown on What Did Prince Do This Week, the quote from Prince this week is James Brown was an inspiration, was, and still is. If you haven't had an opportunity to watch the Say It Loud documentary, today would be a good day to do that.
I'm so glad Prince said that too. That's all you got to just say. What is James Brown was the inspiration, was and is. That's it.
That's it. That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right. Work on Purple Rain was still in high gear, but once again, Prince followed his urges instead of any pending release schedule. Urges instead of any pending release. Prince, once again, okay. After several days away from
water now.
What's that?
Nothing. That was I was saying the water. The water.
I was trying to figure out. It just doesn't. I feel like I'm not reading this right, or I'm not interpreting this right. It says, work on Purple Rain was still in high gear, but once again, Prince followed his urges instead of any pending release schedule. Okay, I think I got it. After several days away from Sunset Sound, he jumped back in with a high energy track that unfortunately ended up having no place in any of his upcoming projects. This is so sad to me because I really wish that Love and Sex would have been released in real time at the unusually early hour of 9:15 in the morning. Can you believe he worked on this? I can't believe he worked on Love and Sex at 9:15 in the morning.
What was he doing before this? Because what time would he have to get up early in the morning to be there? Like, he must have already just been lit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because who starts that early in the morning? He was already done up and in the studio?
Yeah, that's crazy.
He just came from something.
I think he just came from something. I think that's the other book that we've been talking about.
Hilarious. Okay. Got a good one.
Yeah, I try. All right. So work began on Love and Sex in Studio 2, and the day was spent fleshing it out, like with members of the Revolution and possibly Sheila. At midnight, Prince began overdubs for the song, ending the session at 3:45 the following morning. That is insane. 9:15 a.m. to 3:45 a.m. All told, Prince and Peggy McCreary spent more than 18 hours in the studio. Getting a part right or being demanding is an art form to get perfection, and he's a perfectionist without question, and that pushes you and him to find out your limits, explained Revolution drummer Bobby Z. Nobody worked harder than him, so you were just trying to keep up, and certainly when he was younger, it was superhuman. It was amazing to see this go on and be a part of it, so you rose to the occasion because you felt like you had to. Love that quote from Bobby Z. The song starts off with a count-in by Prince and the Girls, a Las Vegas-style vamp similar to one he would use in his upcoming 1984 birthday show for the song Possess, leads into a Prince scream. I can't do that, but if you know this song, if you have Purple Rain Deluxe, you know that, the scream of, come on, baby, hurt me. It was very James Brown, recalls McCreary. It is very James Brown. You can feel a cockiness in his voice on the song. Yes. You can tell that he thinks that he is hot stuff. I think he always knew he was hot stuff.
You gotta believe it.
Yeah, you gotta believe it. The track has the flavor of many songs from that era, such as 17 Days, and the lyrics questions how he'll be treated in heaven by his love. I love the lyrics of this song. I'm not into lyrics, but out of all of Prince's songs, this is one of my favorites in terms of the lyrics, especially when he says, will he let you hurt me in the upper room? I think it is so funny. I feel like this is a Christopher Tracy style song because I think the lyrics are hilarious. Some people might think that they're blasphemous, but I don't. I just think Prince can be funny sometimes. So will he still be desired, or will he let you hurt me in the upper room? As with Irresistible B, when Prince uses the phrase hurt me, this song continues the theme of the singer enjoying the pain from his lover. Now, I think a really great presentation or paper would be analyzing all the times that Prince used or said hurt me.
Yeah, I never even thought about it.
Hot.
But that's so because he's saying that because it's like he's into that being hurt, pain, pleasure, hurt. I mean, the way he hurt me, like
I don't know, but
it's
so
hilarious. Actually, I never thought about what he's really saying.
it's in the Glam Slam show, hurt me. And then it's in
Yeah.
Bridge when he writes it on his chest. I mean, we could go on and on and on and on and on.
I guess there was that's another book apparently.
Yeah, it's
What do they call that? Is that with the whips and stuff? Oh, S&M. Okay. Yeah. Somebody put together the Prince S&M playlist.
Well, we actually had a presenter. We had a presenter actually present about that at one of the symposiums, but I can't remember which one because there's been so many now. And let's see. Okay, so this song continues the theme of the singer enjoying the pain from his lover. It also contains.
Go ahead now. Go ahead, Prince.
Michael, you are funny. It also contains many of Prince's standard comments from his live shows, like "Let me hear you say yeah" and "Hit me." The song ends with Prince saying, "That's right." I love this song. I really, really do wish that this was included. So I'm going to skip Susan Rogers' quote to give people stuff to talk about. I mean,
Isn't it fascinating as much time they spent on these songs and they didn't even come out? Like, man, that's just like every song was treated as if it was going to be the one. I love it.
But I really truly do think that this is the one. So I would love if this would be one of the songs. If I could talk to Prince, I would go, "Why did you not release this song?"
I don't like this.
I love this song, Michael.
I like the one there's like a Sheila E. version.
Yeah, that's a Sheila E. version.
That's the one I maybe that's because that's one I kind of heard first, but the song itself though is great. Just whatever version it is a cool song though.
Yeah, I love Kim saying. Kim is saying Prince said, "I told y'all, all is in the music."
Yeah.
All right.
Hurt me. That's all. I'm gonna get a button, the hurt me button.
Yes. And Mila's helping me. Mila says, "I think it was for the symposium that is correct. The Sexy MF symposium. It was indeed. But yeah.
I wonder who did that one.
I'm blanking, but I had to take it down. I put it on Vimeo and then I had to take it off of Vimeo because I think of the audio and I've been meaning to actually chop it up without the music and see if I can put it back up. So it's nope, not Miss TLC.
Why you try to put that on Miss TLC?
Yeah, no, it's not Miss TLC. I'm so bad. Hold on, we're gonna stop this. We're gonna take a momentary break.
We're gonna take a hurt me break.
Yeah, we're gonna take a hurt me break.
To the bottom of this, we want to know who's get down.
It was Sherry Wayne.
Okay, Sherry.
Yeah, that's who did it. Yeah, Sherry Wayne. So I'm gonna actually, because of this, I'm gonna have to put that back up so I can put it in the playlist for today. So I gotta see if I can cut out all the stuff and see if YouTube will accept it. We will see. All right, and then we're back on page 280. Prince decided that he wanted to continue work on Traffic Jam. Like you're in. I don't know when he started on Traffic Jam, but just let's say you're 12 hours in, maybe 15 hours in, and you go, you know what? I want to work on Traffic Jam. Yeah. I was
like, hey, Peggy, pull up Traffic Jam.
Like fresh tape. I know, like she was not happy. I know I wouldn't be. So he created a disco mix on the same tape. Yeah,
I want to do a disco mix. Okay.
Yeah, he added an extra minute and 20 seconds through edits, overdubs, and laying down some additional Lynn drum sections. A rough mix was created of the disco mix of Traffic Jam, and a single C60 cassette was made of Love and Sex, and possibly the updated version of Traffic Jam at the end of the session. Now, this Traffic Jam disco mix gotta be on the next Purple Rain. It just gotta be. We gotta hear this. All right, status Love and Sex, 4 minutes and 58 seconds was an incredibly passionate homage to James Brown and would have shown off Prince in a completely new light. I agree with that, Dwayne. That's some good writing right there. But it didn't have a place on any of his projects from that period, so it remained unreleased during his lifetime. It was included in the Purple Rain Deluxe. Thank the Lord for the Purple Rain Deluxe expanded edition CD set in 2017 on January 2nd, 1986, 2 years after Michael Dean's version of Love and Sex was tracked. Prince and Sheila E. recorded a song with the same name, 4 minutes and 11 seconds, that was considered but never placed on her third album, which we also talked about last week, because it was the anniversary of Sheila E., which is the name of her third album, last Saturday. So
Love that album.
it's a great album. It really is. Very, very stellar. What's your favorite song off the Sheila E. album?
Ah, man. Off the top of my head, Honey Man.
Please. Yeah, mine is Boys Club.
Boys Club, fantastic.
Boys Club. And then obviously Cuckoo.
Cuckoo. What's the song?
Hold Me.
Think of it as a cassette tape. The first song on the second side.
Wednesday Like a River.
No, Pride and a Passion.
Oh, Pride.
I love the horns on that.
Yeah, yeah. And I got another person who's with me for Boys Club, because Boys Club just doesn't get enough love. And
Prince say, "Boy, get out of here!" At the end of the song.
Yes, and then Kenneth, Love on a Blue Train.
Love on a Blue Train. Oh.
Yeah.
Love on a Blue Train. That's just like that. Beautiful night. It's gonna be a beautiful night. Baby, I'm a star. Just that end of the show, big jam that I used to love when Prince would have those kind of songs. You know, just almost like the end of church or something. When they're just about to, it's just gonna cut up one last time and jam it out. You know?
Yes. Now this is interesting. Dorothy Edwards has just found that there's a traffic jam by Weird Al Yankovic sampling Prince and the Revolution's "Let's Go Crazy." That's it. Huh. Something to listen to after the show. Oh, I love that part. There's so much under my dress from Boys Club. Yes. Love that. And the salsa cut, Soul Salsa, is a really great song. The whole album is like fire, fire, fire.
The only song that I really don't care for was probably the biggest song off the record.
Hold Me.
Hold Me. I didn't like. I just knew it wasn't Prince when it came out. I was like, why did they put this out?
But I think it's her strongest vocal performance. Like I think she did a really fantastic job on the vocals on that, for sure. All right. So we're going to go on to our next reading, and we're going to let Michael Dean read about Love and Sex from Tuesday, February 28th.
All right. Love and Sex, Sunset Sound Studio 2, 12:30 p.m. to 5 p.m. Booked, locked out. Producer Prince, artist Prince, engineer Prince, assistant engineer Peggy McCrary. It's a quote from Prince. More than my songs have to do with sex. They have to do with one's love for one another, the need for love, the need for sexuality, basic freedom, equality. I'm afraid these things don't necessarily come out. I think my problem is that my attitude is so sexual that it overshadows anything else. Very interesting. I wonder what year he said
I was saying the same thing, so I'm going to look up this footnote while you're reading and find out.
Another relatively early session was held to mix the track and make a safety copy. At some point, Jill Jones added her background vocals to this track during the sha-la-la-la section, but it is unclear if that occurred on this date or on a later session. Prince left at 5 p.m. The Grammy Award ceremonies took place that evening, And he was nominated for Pop Male Vocal for 1999 and R&B Male Vocal Performance for International Lover. Michael Jackson won in both categories with Thriller and Billie Jean, respectfully. This really was Michael Jackson's year, and it was tough to argue with the success of Thriller. Prince wasn't quite in his league just yet, but it was obvious he was gaining momentum. While predicting the winners, Los Angeles critic Robert Hilburn accurately noted that Jackson would come out dominant in the pop male vocal category, adding, Prince will have to wait until next year. Few understood at the time how true that would be. It is unclear whether Prince actually attended the Grammy Awards that evening, as he wasn't seen when his name was announced as a nominee.
All right. So I looked, and that quote is from Musician, November 1988,
Okay.
in an article by Steve Perry called Prince, the Purple Decade.
Got it. Okay. That makes sense, because I was like a 1984 Prince, or if, I don't know if he would have said it like that, but
Yeah.
the more seasoned, getting a little more seasoned in the game, I could see Love Sexy Prince saying that.
Yeah, for sure. All right. We're going to move on to, I just want to, again, more Pride and the Passion, Love from Chris Bournet. I jogged to that song.
Oh, nice.
Yep. And have a great weekend, Christina. If you're still here, thank you for joining us.
Is Pride and the Passion, does it start with that? Woo! Is that the song?
I haven't listened to Pride and Passion lately.
Every time a Prince song, they say "woo" at the beginning, you know it's gonna be a jam. Because I'm like, how did he start the song that way? 1, 2, 3, like it was like a Tina Marie, like
oh yes,
you know, like, hey, it's a party.
Everybody get up.
Yeah.
Where biz. All right. So I'm gonna go on to the next day, which is Wednesday, February 29th, 1984, because I got a lot of slides today and I'm trying to get through the reading as fast as I can, so we stay within our two-hour time limit. All right, so today, February 29th, 1984, Apollonia 6 album is compiled with Take Me With You, Sex Shooter, Manic Monday is still is in the mix, A Million Miles, I Love You. I just want to put on that song right now. I love A Million Miles. Ooh, She Chihuahua, Some Kind of Lover, In a Spanish Villa, Sunset Sound Studio 2, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., Booked, Locked Out, Producer Prince, although not listed, Artist Apollonia 6, although not listed, Engineer Peggy Mac McCreary. This is another Prince quote because it's bolded. Thank you, Dwayne. I'm trying to put in that body of work, things that I haven't done, so that when I finish, I look at it, I look at all of it. It represents the wheels, the whole complete pie, as opposed to the same thing over and over. Prince. All right. Having lost both Grammy Awards to Michael Jackson the previous evening, Prince may not have been in the mood to create a new song. Instead, he focused his attention on wrapping up the Apollonia 6 album at the beginning of February. The album was basically being written in the studio, and now he bookended the month by creating another assembly of the album. The first took place on February 6th. The track selections hadn't changed, and this new shuffle would remain the basic sequence for the final release. At this point, the album still contained Take Me With You and Manic Monday, but that would change very soon. 4 cassettes were made of a new version of the album. It is unlikely that Prince attended the actual session, but he would have dropped by to pick up the cassettes. After Prince left the studio, he called Apollonia from the limo. She wasn't home, so he hummed the break for a song as a message on her answering machine. Potentially humbled by the previous night's Grammy loss, it is possible that he was inspired to work on something more introspective and may have laid the groundwork for what can be argued is the most personal song of his career, When Doves Cry. That tune would eventually become his first #1 song, introducing the world to the Purple Rain soundtrack and movie, as well as to the genius of Prince. Nothing in his career would ever be the same after that.
Wow. Foreshadowing.
Yes, a lot of foreshadowing. And Kim verified, yes, Woo is the first vocals on the Pride.
Woo!
And we want to give
I think Another Lover starts that way.
What's that?
Another Lover. Like the album version.
Yeah, it's a lot of that. And
Sealy.
Sealy, be safe out there on
On the
those.
road again.
Yes. So I'm gonna have to change my numbers because Prince wasn't in the studio this week. So it's actually not 6 studio visits, it's 5 this week. All right. So
One thing I just wanted to throw in too, listening to them talking about speculating how the Grammys may have made him felt. It's just interesting uh that artists, especially back at that time, I don't know how much they matter today, but it's interesting how not winning an award could possibly have such an effect on an artist to influence their art one way or the other. I almost wish that doesn't matter, but then on some points maybe those are the sort of motivation things that happen to an artist where they're like, oh, okay, I'm going to respond to that. But it's just interesting to hear Prince like be possibly thinking about not winning some award and I got to show him type of thing or something like, because I feel like you got to show him nothing like you're
yeah,
freaking
but
Prince.
I mean,
Yeah, I get it.
I'm with Maria though. I don't know. Maybe he cared. Maybe he didn't care. I don't know that he lost. I mean, I don't
Well,
know.
no, I'm just saying it's a speculation, but it's just
Yeah,
interesting to even consider that he would even think about things like that.
yeah. And Maria is saying artists are human too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I think it depends on the artist though. Like one of my favorite quotes, or I don't know necessarily a quote, but J Dilla, like he didn't go to award shows. There was I can't remember who did the quote, like while everybody was at the award show that he was making beats, so
Hilarious.
just like he'd rather make music than take the time to go to a award show. I mean, obviously,
I thought you meant he was at the award show making
oh
beats.
no,
No, that's about to
he
say
chose not to.
that'd be cold.
But I did like I can't remember if this is true or not because I know this was said at the time that when Dilla was in the hospital, he was still making beats. Like he created donuts supposedly in the hospital. But then I thought I might have read somewhere where someone said that that wasn't true. I don't know. But do we have any Dilla fans in the house that can let me know if that's true or not? And I have to pull back out my Dilla Time copy that Dan Turner's wrote. It's a really good book if you haven't read it.
Yeah, yeah, and what Kenny's saying, yeah, the thing about the awards, because in the previous record, Prince said he didn't care for awards, so that's why to me it's kind of weird. Like, would he really be thinking?
Yeah. And I like this comment from Kim that I think this is a really observant, are we talking about business Prince or artist Prince? Because I'm sure like Prince wore multiple hats when responding to different things that happened. And yes, we definitely remember what Prince said about losing to U2 at 1998 Grammy Awards. Yes, they can't do what he can do. Housequake. Yeah, I do think that was Questlove who said it originally, but I feel like someone said that that wasn't true, but I'm not sure. Yes, 1988, of course. All right, so let's move on to our next day, which is Thursday, March 1st, 1984. I'll actually, if you don't mind, will you read this one, Michael?
Thursday, let me get there.
It is 250. I'm sorry, 283. Man, I need to get some new glasses. Yeah, it's a lot of photos in between.
Okay, here we go. March 1984. All right, here we go. Thursday, March 1st, 1984. New song, Probably When Doves Cry. Basic tracking, Sunset Sound Studio 3. 7:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Booked, locked out. Producer Prince, artist Prince, engineer Prince, assistant engineer Peggy Mac McCrory. Another quote from Prince. What is commercial and what is innovative? One of my biggest records had no bass. When Doves Cry. It's Prince. A new month and new song and back in Studio 3. In many ways, Studio 3 was better suited for Prince. Craig Hubler, Sunset Sound's general manager, remembers that Prince kept it busy. I would say during 84, 85, 86, Prince occupied that room 7 to 8 months out of the year. He was almost a booking we could depend on. coming in and just camping out. He decorated a bit with candles and Christmas tree lights dangled around the top of the console. Prince spent only 2 hours recording in the studio tonight. The session was probably laying down the basic tracks for When Doves Cry. No lyrics were written and no title was given to the new song, so it is doubtful Prince made much progress on the track. His time was probably spent creating the right drum sound on the Lin. Prince was one of the very best drum programmers because he could get very warm sounds out of the machines, recalled drummer Bobby Z, particularly on songs like When Doves Cry. He really liked that sound the Lin gave him and hung on to it for a long time, even after it was obsolete. No cassette copies were made from this session. And I just want to say, we always talk about the great drum programmers and beat makers. Obviously, we mentioned one of the icons, Jay Dilla. But I was, man, Prince to me is one of those cats. He was one of the original cats
It
of
was
the
the
new
prototype.
breed that was really putting them cold beats down, had his own style, knew how to freak the machine, and was coming up with stuff. I mean, like, his stuff is ridiculous. Sometimes it's easy to overshadow that, but if you go back and listen to them records from back then, his beat programming, ridiculous, man. I always, to me, it's like when I look at the stuff from this era, even from 82 and all of the stuff that they're doing, and then you get all the way, to me, it's just the pinnacle. To me, is when you just get to Ballad of Dorothy Parker.
Yeah.
I was just like, God damn, like, how did he do that? The timing of it, it was freaky, man. He was cold with the beats. I just wanted to make sure we say that.
Yeah. And Kenny is saying When Doves Cry came out, drummers, conga players, timbali players, world percussion players came up front and was respected finally, all due to Prince. So, all right. So let's move on to Friday, March 2nd, 1984. And we have more When Doves Cry, possibly basic tracking and overdubs and instrumental overdubs mix. Sunset Sound Studio 3, 3:30 p.m. to 7:30 a.m. Let me drink some water.
Morris, I believe 779311 was the stock beat on the machine, which is crazy unto itself.
Yeah. All right, 3:30 p.m. to 7:30 a.m. Book locked out. Producer Prince, artist Prince, engineer Prince, assistant engineer Peggy Mac McCrary. This is a quote from Prince. The music for me doesn't come on a schedule. I don't know when it's going to come, and when it does, I want it out. I think that's a really interesting quote from Prince, and I want to look up that attribution. And someone with your book, you could do that. If you can go back to the back and look under March 1984 and look up number 3, you'd be my best friend. Okay. When Prince had something to say, he had a singular focus. Today, he was completely inspired. And what he created would be his introduction to millions. When Doves Cry would claim the #1 spot for 5 weeks on the Billboard Hot 100. But on this date, it was just a man trying to put a song that only he could hear to tape. That was beautiful, Dwayne, just FYI. I love that. The inspiration for When Doves Cry isn't completely clear. According to keyboard player Lisa Coleman, it came from working with her and Wendy Melvoin in the studio. I think I influenced When Doves Cry to the extent that Prince was engaged in a healthy competition with us. He was always thinking, how can I kick their ass? Prince's former guitarist, Des Dickerson, is convinced that he knows it's Genesis. I wrote a song called She Loves To video. Okay, I'm going to skip all of that. And
dances.
no, I'm skipping all of this about
I was the one who made.
Yeah, I don't want to go through who said they did. Okay, regardless of its origin, we're on page 285.
Yeah.
The track stands out because it was Prince's first #1 hit on the pop charts, and the collective memory of when and how it was recorded is shared among those around him. Okay, so I'm not going to read this quote from Peggy Mac, but if you go to the company playlist and you watch the video from the Peggy Mac's interview with Sunset Sound, Peggy Mack said that it was Prince and her in the studio when it came to When Doves Cry. Um, so that's what I'm going to go with. Prince worked on the full track, including the newly written lyrics, for 16 hours. When it came time to add the frantic keyboard solo at the end, Prince realized that what he heard in his head would be tricky to recreate. So he and McCreary came up with a plan. Because it would need to be played live, Prince shared the secret with keyboard player Matt Fink. Prince revealed to me that he took the 24-track 2-inch tape machine and slowed it down to the half speed setting. He played the solo halftime and sped the tape back up, which made the solo much easier to play. But Prince always handed the football to me when we did When Doves Cry live. It was as if he was saying, "Here, you play it, dude." I think this is so funny, and I've heard Dr. Fink talk about this, and he would play it live. And what's crazy, like also in the company playlist for this episode, I put in the Syracuse version of When Doves Cry, as well as the new tour version of When Doves Cry. And the Syracuse version is so fast. Like, you know how Prince sometimes would speed up songs? So like When Doves Cry is sped up in Syracuse. And I was like, I can't believe that Dr. Fink is playing this keyboard solo that's already sped up. And now it's sped up even more because they were playing it. Look at Dwayne coming through. Thank you so much, Dwayne. So that quote from Prince that we read at the top, which is, "The music for me doesn't come on a schedule. I don't know when it's going to come. And when it does, I want it out," is from this New York Times article, a reinventor of his world and himself, John Pareles, if I'm saying that. And I hope you're doing well, Dwayne. It's so great to see you in the chat. Thank you so much for this amazing book. We're having a blast reading it, if you haven't noticed. And there's some really beautiful passages this week, Dwayne, in your writing that is really speaking to me. So thank you for that. Like Celie, I don't really know what cap means. I'm hoping
kind of like you're lying. Why are you lying? There's a little bit of
okay
embellishment going on.
All right, got it.
I'm not saying they are. Oh, yeah. I wanted to ask. We're talking about the keyboard stuff, the lines, and I was listening to. I think it was "I Don't Want to Leave You" last night. You know, it's a great keyboard solo in that song, piano and stuff. And I was just listening. I was like, God, listen to this music. And then, and When Doves Cry, and we talk about it, there was a time when not just Prince was, like, you know, the guitar thing we think about, but he was like the master keyboard player, and like intricate, long solos in the song. They weren't just like thrown in. They were just as important as now we would think of the guitar solo. But his keyboard solo was so like detailed, dope, but intricate and complex. And that was a thing in the records. They were so detailed and complex, you almost don't even think about them when you're listening to them. Like, in terms of like this, they had to really do something with this. I mean, obviously you think of Dr. Fink's thing on Head. That is such a masterwork, but there's a lot of those songs have that level of complex solos in them, which is just a lost art now. What I was wanting to ask, maybe I don't remember, what does that come from? Like, why were those guys doing that? What were they inspired? I wonder what musician was it? Parliament or something, or
I would say also the Ohio Players.
Ohio Players.
Yeah, if you listen to a lot of Ohio or a lot of the 70s funk bands, they had a lot of like piano and keyboard solos in their records. And then obviously, like during the 70s, there's also jazz fusion.
I was gonna say, is that coming from the Herbie Hancock and the jazz kind of stuff?
Yeah, I'm thinking that the funk guys listen to the jazz folks. I mean, because like people listen, they weren't so segregated in terms of what they listened to.
Right.
Because my uncles listened to everything. And I'm sure that Prince was, and obviously growing up in Minneapolis with the radio stations that were playing, they were playing all sorts of music. And I just know that when you were talking about that, I immediately thought of Ohio Players. And the reason why I thought of the Ohio Players is one thing that I loved about the Time records, as opposed to all the other records, is that especially for the first two, if not, I have to look at Ice Cream Castle, which I have here. It was basically 3 songs per side, and if you were able to, and the same on Ice Cream Castle. There's 3 songs per side, and you're able to stretch them out. Even though, let's see, on If the Kid Can't Make You Come is 7 minutes and 33 seconds. The Bird is 7 minutes and 10 seconds. And then Ice Cream Castles is 7 minutes and 33 seconds.
Workout.
So, yeah. And so I preferred, like, I sometimes think of the time records as Prince's bass records because, like, he would just really get into the bass line, but also, like what you're bringing up, the keyboard and piano solos. And that's one of the reasons why I love I Don't Want to Leave You, I Don't Want to Go. It's because of that amazing solo. But that's not the only song that Prince does that in, but I find that it's more early on in Prince's discography,
Yeah, you can sort of hear how the music of the times changes. So that sort of instrumentation, and obviously probably the songs get shorter, right? As they start to become more pop hits. You can't really.
People are putting like 20 songs on one record.
Right.
Like
it's amazing to hear, like, there's music that is it's still accessible, but it's highly, like, complex. Like, it's just like you couldn't just play those records. Like, obviously you can hear, it's like when you bring up the time, as catchy, as simple sometimes as it seems like those songs are, because they're just so on the nose, but the playing in them is on. And like when he does the solo on Get It Up, I was like, okay, yeah, they're not just doing a funk thing. Like, this dude is on some other stuff. Like, who can do this 4-minute guitar solo in the song and he's killing it.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting, man. It's just, they were on another level musicianship even back then, man.
That's what I was about to say. That it was a different level of musicianship during those days. Particularly, I mean, like for all time, but definitely the 70s for me, and the 60s and 70s in particular.
Yeah. The influence it had on them for Prince, for it to bleed down to Prince and where he did with it. It'd be interesting to see where does it go, even as we are now. Like, at some point, there's some kids going to be like, I want to be the badass musician cat, like super complex. And that's the thing that becomes, the thing. Like, oh, can you play intricate though? When we get back to the more complex. Anyway, I'm on my old man stuff.
No, you're on your music stuff, which I think is important. Musicianship is important. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, because we won't even start talking about generative AI, right?
So that would be funny if AI forced that to happen.
I think that would be a really great result. I hope that will be the case. All right, so I'm not going to read that quote from Peggy, and then we're going to go back to the last paragraph on 285. Prince worked on the full track, including the newly written lyrics, for 16 hours. When it came time to add the frantic, I already read that. So we read all of that, and then Prince hadn't created a proper mix of the track by the end of the session, but he had McCrary run off a cassette of the song, and before he was finished, he left the studio for a short time. His excitement for the track was obvious because he drove to the homes of several band members and associates to play it for them. According to Lisa, she and Wendy were among the first to hear the track. He called us at 4 a.m. We were in our jammies thinking, what now? He came over and we got in his car and drove around LA listening to that song. He was so excited about it. That is so fun.
That'd
like,
be awesome. Wow.
Isn't that fun? Like,
I would love to see that reenacted in a movie or something.
Yeah.
Listen, you guys.
Yes. Listen to my new track. And then Jill Jones remembers similar behavior. 3 a.m. drop by. Yeah, that's how he is. And you're half asleep and sitting there listening. And then he's like, bye. And you are like, thanks for dropping by. In addition to the version of the song that was later released, Prince also created an instrumental on this date to potentially be used in the movie, which was delivered to the Warner Brothers vault. Status: When Doves Cry, 5 minutes and 54 seconds, was the lead single from the Purple Rain soundtrack and became Prince's first #1 hit in the United States. It was edited for single release 3 minutes and 48 seconds. An instrumental version 3 minutes and 49 seconds remains unreleased. It would be so great to get this instrumental version of the whole song on another Purple Rain deluxe of some kind. Super deluxe, because that was just a deluxe edition. Although there has been rumors of an extended 12-inch containing additional lyrics, this has not been confirmed.
Now that would be the get. There was the 12-inch version of that.
Yes.
Which I wouldn't be surprised. What makes me, when you think of, how they played it live in concert, there was kind of a second little part that they would have. They would kind of vamp on. I wonder if they really had recorded it like that. We just never heard the studio version of that. But
yeah, it's so. Zacchaeus bringing up funny hearing Morris Day respond to first hearing it. He didn't like it. I remember reading that actually. Hold on.
Morris.
Let me see what kind of index we got in Morris's book. Do we have an index in Morris's book? Of course we don't. Hold on one second. Let me see if I can open up my Kindle real quick and
Morris, what you think of this song?
Yeah. Because it would be interesting to read that passage.
I wonder, maybe he heard maybe it was a different mix, possibly.
Yeah, possibly. So I am.
And I imagine, I know Morris. They was just only like, man, if this ain't jamming, get it out of here. That's got to be crazy. I mean, you tripping, man.
Okay, I think I just found it. So I'm reading this from Morris Day's book on time, a princely life in funk. So okay, and this is Ghost Prince. I call it Ghost Prince.
Ghost.
So, yeah, but what else you gonna say about me in this book? I love Ghost Prince in this book. And Morris says that we brothers always have been, always will be. I'm the one cat who wasn't scared to tell you what I thought. And in this book, that won't change. Gonna be true to you, but also true to me. And if I'm not mistaken, I do believe that's why you kept me around. I said what was on my mind, whether you liked it or not. Remember when you played When Doves Cry? And this is Ghost Prince. Yes, indeed. You said, don't play me nothing else unless it's funky. And if you do put out that Dave song, put some bass on it. I'm sorry. If you do put out that Dove song, put some bass on it. This is Morris. Right. Wasn't trying to kiss your ASS. Others might have done that, but not me. Ghost Prince, you didn't kiss my ASS, but when it came to Dove, you had your head up. Your ASS was my first #1 pop single. Morris, I don't give a SH. Still think it needs some bass. Ghost Prince, so we're going to keep arguing. Is that it? Morris, we're going to do what we're going to do. Ghost Prince, which is just what led to all the fights and the fallings out. Is that something you really want to get into? And then he just keeps going on and on and on. So
put some bass on
it. Yes.
Lord.
So if you haven't picked up on time, I think it's really important. And I'm still doing my mini campaign of anybody who knows Morris, please tell him to record his own audiobook.
Yeah.
His own audiobook, re-record it. We want to hear him read this book. I would love for him to do Prince's vocals, like his voice, Ghost Prince voice when he's reciting. I think it would be really interesting. So, see, Dwayne is saying he played When Doves Cry. Remember, I got out the car and said, next time, play something funky for me and slam the door. Yeah. It was one of the biggest hits on radio, so you don't always get the first listen. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 or 4 to really hit. Yes, put some bass on it. So I want to hear the bass. I would love to hear the bass. Do you want to hear the bass, Michael? I know some people are like, I don't need to hear the bass.
I can go either way. I never even thought about it at the time. I didn't even know what to look for. I just thought it was dope. But when I heard it live and I hear the bass, I was like, whoa, like that's dope. So
yeah, I'm sure it changes. It totally changes the feel of the song, but I just got to hear it. It's almost like hearing the sax on the Ballad of Dorothy Parker. It's like, I liked it, but I'm really glad that he didn't release it that way. But I loved hearing that on the Sound of Times Super Deluxe. It changes the vibe.
Yeah, and I would say as I really think about this, when doves cry, to me, in doves cry, listening to it, it reminds me of the way I would listen when I was listening to rap and hip hop at the time. I never thought to about the bass. The only bass I was concerned about was the bass drum, and to me, the drums on this are the bass. Sonically, it reminds me of like Run DMC or something. Like it didn't always have bass, but the drums was the bass.
Hmm.
Everything. So to me, it kind of reminds me like an early hip hop aesthetic where it was almost if it was a stripped down sample of himself, to pull that out and just keep it street like boom, 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 boom. Like that's the bass. But I
Yeah.
can understand from a musician you want to hear that other thing. But I think he was ahead of his time. He didn't even realize what he was doing.
Yes.
Maybe he did realize.
The genius that he was. So we are finally at Saturday, March 3rd, and I am going to allow Michael Dean.
Uh,
We both struggling with the voices today.
All right, March 3rd. Here we go. When Doves Cry, mix copies. Sunset Sound Studio 3, 4:30 p.m. to 11 p.m. Usual suspects, Prince, artist, producer, engineer, assistant engineers Peggy Mac McQuarrie and David Leonard assumed. Another quote from Prince. They were almost done editing the movie. When Doves Cry was the last song to be mixed, and it just wasn't sounding right. Sometimes your brain kind of splits in two. Your ego tells you one thing, the rest of you says something else. You have to go with what you know is right. That's Prince. Prince continued working with Peggy McQuarrie and David Leonard, trying to get the proper sound. At this point, the track was cluttered with additional layers of guitars and keyboards, and there was nothing revolutionary about the track. Muddying a song with additional instruments, excuse me, Muddying a song with additional instruments occurred on occasion during his career, but it was generally corrected by the time the track was locked. Future Prince guitarist Miko Weaver reflected on this when discussing his time with Prince in the studio. He'll put down tons of tracks, everything he can think of, then listen back and take what he wants. What ends up on the final mix may be just a fraction of what's on the tape. Prince began eliminating much of the chaos of the track, but he indicated that it wasn't quite what he wanted. McQuarrie remembers this while the track was being mixed. Prince just punched out the bass. He said something like, "Nobody will have the balls to do this. You just wait, they'll be freaking." According to Prince, Jill Jones was also present during the decision. As she walked in, Prince lifted his head off the console during the rough mix. It was just sounding too conventional, like every other song with drums and bass and keyboards. So I said, if I could have it my way, it would sound like this. And I pulled the bass out of the mix. She said, "Why don't you have it your way?" I could just, it's hard for me to think. Prince is in the studio, his head down, trying to figure out this mix. This is fascinating. Leonard had a similar memory of the event. I remember it like a lot of stuff on. Like, I remember it had a lot of stuff on it. So when it came down to mixing the song, it originally had bass on it, and he made the decision to remove the bass. I was originally trying to mix it as it was, but he came in and turned it off and put reverb on the bass drum, and away you go. In funk music, the bass propels the song and usually adds a heavy dose of sexuality to the track. Removing the instrument completely was practically unheard of in this genre. Prince explained his thought process best. When Doves Cry does have bass in it, the bass is the kick drum. The bass is in the tone of the reverb on the kick. Bass is a lot more than just that instrument over there. Bass to me means BASE. BASE is a fish. The reverb helped create the sound, but Prince made it deeper by piling three tracks bass drum on top of each other. Oh, so he layering the drums. Okay. Regardless of who was there, the most important part of the story remains the same. Prince decided to remove the bass, which changed everything. He would do this again a few months later on Around the World in a Day and and on Kiss in April of 1985. Two 60 cassettes, two C60 cassettes were made of the mix, and the session ended before midnight. Mm.
All right. So these quotes from Prince, a couple of them are actually from a 20. It doesn't say when it's basically from bassplayer.com, and it's from an article by Carl Coryat, and it is Bass Player November 1999. So that's where these bass quotes are from. And you can, if this link is still correct, Dwayne has the link in the back in the index that you can actually read it, because I think this is a really good article to reread. It's a lot of great quotes.
Question?
Yeah.
Question? What do you think of When Doves Cry?
When Doves Cry came out, the video was an event. And the thing is, like, we didn't have cable, so I just couldn't like catch it like that. So and I can't remember. I just remember going to school and everybody had seen the video except for me, and I was salty. I was
Oh wow!
like, I haven't seen this video. So when I finally saw the video, I thought it was everything. And you know, like how it starts off with that, it was just like, and I thought that was so cool because it's something that no one else would do but Prince. You know, and then like whenever I think of When Doves Cry, I actually think about the video, because I just think it's just scared in my head, like, you know, the doves, the opening of the doors, like the smoke, because you know I'm all about the smoke. I love Prince and smoke for whatever reason, and you know, like the flowers strewn on the floor, and also one of the things I love about the video is like when the split screen, when it, you know, everything for doubles. I had never really seen that before because I was only 13 years old. I was like, oh my God, you know, this is so incredible.
Like a big special effect. Like,
yeah, like it was so incredible. And then he had the hat on, you know, to the side.
Right.
And I was like, man, this is like amazing. And you know, obviously the album hadn't come out yet. So like this song was like everything. And you know, like you know, I love the you know, speaking of drum programming, I love the drum programming on When Doves Cry. Now as an old lady, the one thing that I never really liked were the high keyboard, like the keyboard tones, like din, 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 because I just think they're too high. I had that same issue with 1999, like just dun, 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 like really high sound.
Yeah. It almost is a very that's almost like a Vegas-y kind of showy. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah,
but he plays it obviously.
Yeah,
to it,
and what frustrated me about When Doves Cry is that it never sounded as good as the studio version live. This was one of the few songs, Kiss being number one for me. I hate hearing Kiss live. For me, he could never catch that feel of the recorded version. And When Doves Cry is another one of those songs where it's really hard to catch the feel of the original song, you know, the studio version of the song. Yeah. And so it's not a song that I looked forward to hearing in concert. Obviously that was different when like I saw him for Purple Rain. It was everything, right? Because I was only 13 or 14, but after seeing many Prince shows and listening to a lot of recorded concerts, I got to a point where I didn't like listening to it live, but I love the studio version because it's fresh. You know, it's like if E.T. fell out of the sky and you had to point to one song, I think When Doves Cry would be the song, not because of the, you know, the mass, you know, reception of Purple Rain, but just because of how unique it is and how Prince is like, it is a Prince with capital letters song.
Yeah.
You know, like it's a song like going back to that YouTube quote, like nobody could have created, you know, he said nobody could have created Housequake. Nobody could have created Windows Cry, you know,
Yeah,
but
yeah. It's a signature.
it's
It
signature.
it's you know, as you're saying, I'm thinking what song before that was it like the first of its kind for Prince sort of setting like this is a 'cause, you know what I mean by that is because it's such a distinctive type of thing, but I can hear other songs after that that I can say like, yeah, the same person who did When Doves Cry, I can hear that in this other song.
The song that really stands out to me pre Purple Rain is actually Annie Christian, and it's a song like just sonically, like
Hmm.
I've never heard a song like it or since. Yes, you can hear some of like the influences that Prince was probably drawing from, but that is a unique sonic palette
Mhm.
that has never been reproduced. So that was the first time where I went, this is only a song that Prince can write.
Hmm.
Um, because you know, like with the first record, you know, there's a lot. You can hear a lot of influence, you know, and I love the first record. The first record is one of my favorites. I still play it a lot. And then you know, like with Dirty Mind, you know, there's a lot of responding to punk and like rock sensibilities and all that kind of jazz. But for me, controversy, I will die on this hill. Controversy is the record where Prince became Prince.
Mhm.
Not 1999, not Purple Rain, but controversy. Just because like I felt like he finally found his legs as a unique artist, and it was kind of
You
late.
don't think Dirty Mind? I always feel like Dirty Mind to me does that.
Nope, not for me. For me, it is controversy because, like, and also if you watch Virgin Mind live, he's still referencing Mick Jagger a lot in terms of like his moves and stuff. You know, like he isn't comfortable yet on stage, and he's still mimicking like Mick Jagger and others. But like also live, I feel like I
I
obviously
can see live wise.
yeah, he gets
For me,
better.
audio those.
Yeah, obviously,
Okay.
yeah. But
I can respect that. Respect that.
see, I got somebody here, Audrey. Thank you so much. Same controversy. And
Mm.
Maria, yes. Uh-huh. Oh,
Yeah,
I got three. I got three people.
yeah, yeah. When doves cry, man, it's I feel to me doves cry in my mind for me personally, if I don't have to think too much about it, that is the greatest Prince song of all time. Not may not be the one that I, but I just think like that just says Prince like nothing. Just the beginning of the song, the guitar. To me, that is such a like that's like to me like shut up already. It's just like what the and then like it's just like that right off the top. There's nothing, no one else would do that, and no one else would be able to do it that dope like that, and it be freaky, soulful, sexual, soul stirring. You know what I'm saying? Like the what he's talking. Maybe I'm just like my mother. It encompasses everything to me about what Prince is. It encompasses the love, but also like the pain and the longing of want to be loved and all of that stuff. And it just, yeah, it's a whole symphony. Even toward the end, it becomes like this Prince symphony type of thing. Like no one else would be able to pull it off. Like how they fade the song out on the single, but just the whole song, it becomes everything that he becomes later, where he's just all these embellishments and different things. But to me, it was all right there and it all worked perfectly. And it wasn't like it was trying to be something else. He was just doing what he did at that time. He wasn't referencing any sort of earlier type of thing. It was like,
It was pure him.
yeah, it's a fascinating record. Like,
It is very fascinating. So right now, I'm actually teaching a class called The Art of Gathering, based on Priya Parker's book, The Art of Gathering, and she talks about openings and closings. And what's incredible about When Doves Cry is that the opening is so iconic and memorable, but the ending with that keyboard, sped up is just as epic
Hmm.
as the opening. And one of the things I always hated when I listened to a Prince song, or even more so on the time, is when the songs faded out. I hated a fade.
Right.
I knew that there was more to the song, but the way that Windows Cry is constructed, at least on the record, it was, it had a clear opening, it had a clear closing, and it was all incredible in the middle. And like
Yeah.
some of the background vocals, it's such an amazing track.
Yeah, the
Really, really
vocal work alone on that song
vocal work.
is
Say it, Michael.
crazy.
Isn't it crazy?
Yeah, I mean, there's multiple things going on. The passion in his voice, it's just like, yeah, he just took it to a whole thing. Like that whole era could be encompassed in that one song. Like it just is all there, and I think it was the perfect song. Obviously, when you think about it, you think of the video. You just think of the visual representation of that song. It was such a powerful piece, and it's the song that, like it says in the book, the one that opened the world for everybody to be like, yo, this is something else. You ain't never seen nothing like this before. What is this? You know, whoa. It's such a, if nothing else ever, whatever even came after that, he was still blew it all the way. Like just that video and that song alone is incredible. And it's just the fact that it took him all those years to get to that point is
Yeah,
crazy. It's like, man, you can see it. Now you see why it's because, yeah, to me, it just came like out of nowhere. But for a lot of people, they saw the progression to that. It's incredible.
yeah. I love this comment from Peep 777. Windows Cry should have been called My Name is Prince. Uh, So one thing, thinking about the video, and I think one of the reasons why it had such an impact on me, and this was Prince's actually first real video. And what I mean by that is that the majority of the other videos, with the exception of I Want to Be Your Lover, is really him on a stage
Hmm.
with, like with the band, and it was just like concert footage, right? And so with the Windows Cry video, not only does he break away from that template which he had used for a very long time up until this point, but we also get clips of the film, which everybody and their mama was well, at least I was waiting for it.
Hmm.
So it was really exciting to see these clips from the film. And then also, with every Prince album, he changed his look, so, he had, you could still see that stylistic thread from Controversy in 1999, but it was like more rock star, it was more,
Hmm.
satin and sheen and more polished. And it was just like, yeah, as the kid was saying, it was on rotation a lot
Yeah,
on MTV.
it's interesting. It's just, I think of it like, if a fan that came into Prince later and they didn't really pay attention to anything that happened before, and maybe they just came in at, they saw Diamonds and Pearls. That was, they didn't see the progression. They just like, yo, this is dope. And I don't see nothing else after that. That's how a lot of people saw this, right? Like they may not have seen anything that happened before this with Prince, but they saw this, and that'd be the one thing in their life that they ever remember. Like, yeah, I remember Prince like that. Yeah, When Doves Cry, fantastic, and then went on to something else. But even just that, it was so remarkable. Even if you saw nothing else of him, it was enough to satisfy a person like in life to be able to like, I know exactly what that guy is. Like, yeah, he's dope. That's how, to me, that's how dope Prince was. Even if you didn't get to see all the other records, there would have been one record that blew you away. And I would love you to go back and look at everything. But even if you didn't, I can understand why that's enough because it's so incredible. So I'm just thinking as I'm thinking now, like, yeah, that was so incredible.
Yeah.
It's just,
And Benjamin Bradley Jr. saying the World's Fair was in New Orleans in 1984. It seems like you heard Windows Cry on every corner of the city. people were second lining to the song. That's super cool to
I remember
hear.
being in the car with my mom, and neither one of us really knew who Prince was, but we knew that song would come on the radio, and we would sing it word for word. Like it was just the thing that we sang together, not knowing who Prince. I didn't see the video or nothing, but my mom knew. I remember my mom knew it, so I wanted to know it, and we would just sing it. And then I was just like, "Wow, what is this?" Learning later who that was. Like, wow, it's fascinating.
And there's some really great lyrics in the song. And so I want to shout out the Press Rewind Prince Lyrics podcast, because they did an episode with Zach Hoskins about When Doves Cry. So it's in the accompanying playlist. And if you also click on this image, it'll take you there. So if you want to talk about it lyrically, and I'm sure that Celie also talks about it in his book as well. Let me pull that out since I'm pulling out books today so everybody can see.
Put 'em up!
Celie's book, A Literary Look at a Creative Musical Poet, Philosopher, and Storyteller, the lyrics of Prince Rogers Nelson. But we got a lot of slides to go through. So
boy, Celie's book is a be cool book too, boy.
Yes, it's it's
that's a boot.
Yeah. And exactly.
Boot.
So definitely check it out if you want to hear more about When Doves Cry. And I really love this quote from Prince that is actually was quoted in The Beautiful Ones, Prince's autobiography, or not finished, but unfinished. But I want to read it. So I think Purple, and this is Prince. I think Purple Rain is the most avant-garde purple thing I've ever done. And this is from 1986. Just look at When Doves Cry and let's go crazy. Most Black artists won't try groove like that. If more would, we'd have more colorful radio stations. In the 60s, when everybody tried to be different, you had War and Santana and Hendrix and Sly and James, and they were all uniquely different. Now, everyone just jumps on what they think are the hottest sounds. Sometimes I just wish that when I turn on the radio, I could get that many different colors. It's fun to hear a song like Raspberry Beret on R&B. He means on R&B radio. I'm not saying that I'm great or anything like that. I'm just saying that I'm an alternative. I'm something else. And I long to hear something else from everybody. Isn't that an amazing quote from Prince?
That's Ebony Magazine.
Yes, Ebony Magazine, 1986. So I'm sure everyone has seen these lyrics floating around on the interwebs. When Doves Cry. There isn't like drastic changes like we've seen in some of the other lyrics. And I just want to show I should have showed this earlier, but I messed up my slide deck. I have to move it. That Love and Sex was on one of the configurations of the Purple Rain soundtrack, and it was going to be right after Let's Go Crazy. And you can see where it's scratched out. So it would have been interesting to go from Let's Go Crazy into Love and Sex. I don't know how that would have worked sequentially, just because Let's Go Crazy is like super high energy. Love and Sex is also super high energy. And then you would be brought down in terms of just energy, into The Beautiful Ones. But I love seeing that it was a consideration, because like I said, I really wish that it would have come out in real time, because I adore the song. So this is actually a Japanese promo that I found interesting. And I don't know if it's legit, meaning like it was a Japanese Warner Brothers release. And what I find interesting about it is that it has the 1999 Prince logo on it, which is kind of funny. And this is what it came with. And it was, it has like this, it's like a pre-sale flyer thing that this promo came with. And you can see like so I wanted to show that. And then this is just a point of sale. Like when you used to go to record stores, I still go to record stores, but when most people used to go to record stores, you would go up to the cashier, and they would have these point of sale displays. And this was one of them for When Doves Cry. And then I wanted to take some time out today to give some appreciation to Larry Williams. So we're gonna see who has their Prince card. Who is Larry Williams? Do you know who Larry Williams is, Michael Dean? Wait, I unfortunately there's
Oh, I think I do, but I'm gonna act like I don't. Go ahead.
okay. I wish there's a lag with the comments sometimes, but I'm trying to see if anybody in the chat knows who is Larry
You
Williams.
do with clothes?
No,
Oh,
nope.
mm-hmm.
But close.
That's
Larry
good.
Williams is a photographer.
Oh, okay.
There, Man Ray 10 came through. Man Ray 10, yep. So, because there was a lag, I'm sure you had it before I said photography. Thank you, Man Ray 10. And so, this is an iconic poster that came with the Purple Rain album. And the photographer for this is Larry Williams. And then last week, we talked about Doug Henders, who did that a painting in the back with the eyes, who also did the cover for Around the World in a Day. And Larry Williams also directed When Doves Cry, the video. So, in addition to the photography, he also did the When Doves Cry video, again, which I think is just so incredible. And then this is an alternate shot that Larry posted, and it was sold in an auction, I think. So I love Wendy in this. I actually wish that she had a little bit of that sass on this picture. One of the things about this picture, when I got into real time, I always felt like Wendy in particular in this particular photo was too stiff. And I just love seeing her with some attitude on this one. So I kind of wish she had that attitude in the one that we got. But I really love this alternate shot here and how Dr. Fink is looking away. I love how Bobby Z is tilting his head. And I love this. But I really love Wendy for whatever reason. In this particular photo, I think is really amazing. Larry Williams did the photography for Ice Cream Castle.
Now, that's a player. That I love that picture right there, man.
Isn't it cool? And I just found out today when I was looking for this that there was a poster. I never seen this poster, but this is actually not the record cover. It is actually a promotional poster that came out at that time, because you can see like the Warner Brothers logo in the bottom left-hand corner.
You know what I'm getting from this?
Michael.
I'm going all over the place. The Ice-T Power album. Are you familiar with that cover?
No, let me pull it up.
It's just got Ice-T, his wife Darlene with the bikini on one side, and then the DJ on the other. But when you flip it over,
oh, you see their back
behind that they got guns and all kind of stuff. I can see there could be another side of this, and they all got strapped. Holding
I can see that as well. Yeah.
What time is it?
So again, we're giving Larry Williams some flowers because Larry Williams also did the cover for, wait for it, Sheila E. Glamorous Life, which is actually out of all the covers from '84, the Prince, we're celebrating the 4 albums for the symposium. This is the cover. I've always loved this cover. I spent hours looking at this cover. It is like one of my favorites of all time. And I always wanted to go in this building. I want to know who's in this building.
What's going on in there?
Yeah, what's going on in there? And why is she out here? Like, looks like a kind of broken down, needs some repairs and work and all that.
Got the black cat down
Black
there.
cat, yeah.
Oh, what is this cover? Is Sheila just on the streets or
exactly? Like, what is this cover? I want to know. So, Michael Dean, I think you need to interview Larry Williams.
I might have to do that.
Because, and if you do, please ask what is going on with this Sheila E. cover, because I've always wanted to know. Even as a little person, as a 13-year-old, I was like, what is going on with this cover?
I mean, it's a cold pose. How she's got her hand on the thing and thing down.
And you got the drumsticks on the side.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got the fur coat.
Yeah. Sheila was fine.
Amazing cover. And then Larry Williams also did the Apollonia 6 cover.
Interesting. This is a very interesting, like, what are those mountains or something, or cities behind them?
I think they're supposed to be cities. I've never understood this cover. The only thing that I like about it is the smoke, because I'm just obsessed with Prince and smoke. But other than that, I never understood. Again, if you interview Larry, ask him what's going on with Sheila E. And then what's going on with these cityscapes?
Yeah, it's giving me like some kind of almost comic book movie superhero action. It's like a movie thing, or I don't know. It's like the three bad girls in an adventure. You know.
You know, did you watch ISIS during the 70s? Do you remember ISIS?
I do remember that. Yes.
And so it was like it was Wonder Woman, and for those of you who don't know, there was another show called ISIS, and I don't remember what ISIS was, but I don't know. Every time I look at this cover, I think of
Huh.
character for whatever reason.
Yeah, look at Apollonia's like coming, like she's inviting you. Like it's interesting. I never paid too much attention. She almost looked like Vanity there. Now that I really look at it from far away.
Yeah.
I didn't know when I was looking at it.
So I've just been told that Larry is no longer with us. I did not know that.
Man.
So that was a missed opportunity, because I wonder if someone ever did a deep dive with Larry.
Or those not buildings, but interesting.
Thank you, Man Ray. So Man Ray was saying ISIS was related to Shazam.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's right. And I love Mila. Mila says, as a kid, I thought there were big crystals and thought the group was supposed to be mystical or something.
I could see that too. It's like the X-Men, some sort of X-Men comic or something from the 80s.
Yeah. So definitely rest in peace to Larry Williams. I don't know. Yeah. But Matthew Batone is working with his estate. So maybe we can talk to Matthew about it, and maybe he's had some conversations with Larry about these covers.
Question about the cover. What did the teddy bear mean? What is that?
I think
like a little girl or something.
Well, so this is just me making stuff up. I don't know this to be true, but there's a book called Lolita, and there was also a film called Lolita, and just like the young girl. And I always thought that Susan was playing the young girl character, even though she wasn't as young as the Lolita character.
It was hinting into something else.
Yeah.
What was that? Remember those movies? Angel. Remember that? I never seen the movie. Y'all remember you used to walk through Blockbuster or something, and they would be those videos of video. It was Angel 1 and Angel 2. And she was like a young girl, like she was on the streets.
Okay.
I don't remember. I know somebody. Look at those covers. Now that's what Apollonia 6 reminds me. Angel.
Look yeah. But what's crazy though, the teddy bear was with Susan almost all the time, like even on stage. Like if you watch any Vanity 6 or Apollonia 6, like the bunny, not the bunny, the bear is with Susan almost always. In fact, in the album cover, it's on the album cover, but then if you look at the insert with Susan, hold on one second.
Angel there. Define it. Yeah.
Always with the bear. And let's see.
I want to show something here.
You should be able to. Can you?
Yeah, here we go. Angel. Okay. Her two worlds are about to collide.
I never know this, Michael D.
High school honor student by day, and then Hollywood hooker by night. These are the movies we had back in the day. But I always remember that. Now I'm like, that's what they was going for. But anyway.
Blade Brown says, I saw Angel.
Oh, okay, Blade. You're snitching on yourself.
And Andrea Dances is saying that dang teddy bear always bugged me. Yeah.
I didn't even notice teddy bear until now. I was like, what is that?
This is an interesting point from JJ Loves Prince. I think P had some sort of virginal, pure kind of thing with Susan's character in Apollonia 6. She always wore white too.
Interesting.
Yeah. And Mila is letting everybody know that movie is on Tubi, or
Oh,
is it?
you seen it? Okay, all right.
Oh no, that Mila's just saying that it's available for
Mhm.
people who want to.
I'm gonna bring some popcorn. I'm gonna watch it with you.
Oh my
The
God.
movies you be watching.
Yeah.
Angel honor student by day, Hollywood hooker by night. I don't think they'd make them today.
Yeah, I don't think so. All right. This is also an outtake from the I Would Die for You
Mhm.
sleeve. This went to auction and R&R because we've been talking about the auctions lately. Amazing photo. Love this photo. This is Larry Williams. So Larry Williams is amazing.
Man, Prince at that time, he really tapped into his image. Like it just went to a whole other level. Like he understood his appeal, his sexuality, his masculinity, just all of that. And it was all original, just the whole styling. It's dope, man.
Yeah. I've always loved this image. Um I was I'm not gonna say that, but I love seeing the flowers on the floor and seeing the hat from the Windows Cry video, and I love this like magenta, even though it's not monochromatic, it feels monochromatic, and it's such a beautiful image. All the images from this shoot are just incredible.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, Monair, I love this. I wonder if his estate, Larry Williams, he left even more film rolls like most photographers do in multiple shots. So that photo of Prince on the bed, there must be many more alternative shots not used. This is actually one of the alternative shots that were not used. This is different from the one that was on the cover and or the sleeve of the record. And yes, it is beautiful. So the flowers on the ground inspired the Purple Rain album cover. I don't know. I don't know. Is that true? Like, which one came before? Like, because there's actually a different photographer for.
Yeah, I feel like we had talked about that when he did the interview. When we did the interview, I just can't remember what.
What Laura
Yeah.
Pluma said. And actually, the what's interesting that even though Larry Williams did all of the photography for the other three albums, he did not do the photography for the cover of Purple Rain. That was by Ed Thrasher and Associates, but Larry Williams did the poster that was included in the Purple Rain album. So I wonder why he wasn't allowed to do the cover of Purple Rain when he did the end.
We're trying to go for a more probably cinematic movie person, I think, or something.
Yeah, probably. I need to do some
But
research at Thrasher and Associates.
much as I've seen this picture through my life, for whatever reason, looking at it right now, God, that is such a freaking iconic, badass picture of Prince on a motorcycle with the smoke and God, it's just such a different time,
Yep, and Apollonia. Speaking of Apollonia in the Door, when they had that exhibition in Chicago, and they had, redid the scene, I so wanted to take the photo in the doorway, and they wouldn't let me because they said that the stairs weren't stable or something. It was just kind of proppy. But I was like, why all of us got to be on the motorcycle? I want to be in the,
You wanna be in the door.
that's where I want to be. So I was really upset about that in the Chicago exhibition. But one of the things that I love though is that when you first entered that exhibition, they had recreated the When Doves Cry video. So they had the tub and they had like the flowers strewn on the floor. And I just thought it was an amazing way to just kind of
Did you crawl across the floor?
I did not crawl across the floor, but I'm sure some people did. I'm like, and so yes. See, Drea knows they would not let us. Yeah, I was so pissed about that. So let's see. As kid said, she said she walked in, set, and saw the flowers. Yes, a lot of people took their picture at the tub. Yeah, I didn't do a tub, but maybe I did, or I didn't like it. Oh, look, Drea dancing.
Oh, great. Okay. That's a fan right there. All right. I love it. Right.
That is so awesome. That is- And then Vanessa said we did the rising from from the tub scene though.
Nice.
Oh, that's so funny. No, I did not crawl across the floor. I'm a Southern lady. My grandmother would not approve, and my mama neither. So no, I am not crawling across the floor. That's
Ah,
just who I am, and I got to represent for the Oliver clan, and that is not
that's crossing the line right there. You can't do that.
crossing the line for my family.
Cross the line.
So I don't want no pictures showing up of me crawling on the floor over some flowers. So, it's
Boom, 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 boom.
yeah. All right. So we still got more slides, but we got 10 minutes. So 25 songs total so far in 1984. I'm going to change this to 48 because I forgot he wasn't in the studio for the Apollonian 6 compilation. So that technically that should be 48. Please keep me honest. If you see any more mistakes, please let me know. And again, the 2 songs he tracked this week, Love and Sex and When Doves Cry. All right, music break. I got to give a shout out to my favorite living vocalist, Bilal, who I saw on Thursday night at City Winery in New York City. Did an incredible set. I was so happy. I don't know if you guys know the song Hollywood that was off of Love.
Oh, that was on the second
Yeah, the second
album that didn't
unreleased one, Love for Sale.
yeah, love that song.
He
Boom,
performed
doom, doom,
Hollywood.
doom, doom, doom.
Yes.
Dun, 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 dun.
You know the one.
Oh,
And
I'm
he
all, yeah.
also sung Something to Hold On To, also from Love for Sale.
Ah,
Oh my God. He was an incredible vocal like delivery this time because the sound was amazing. He would go really soft and you could still hear his notes. It was an amazing. And then he also had a new keyboard player. I couldn't figure out what his name was, but he was amazing. And then his band is always amazing. So basically, what I'm trying to say is Bilal comes to your city, you should support real music by real musicians because Bilal and his band are those musicians.
dope. I made the mistake of coming up to him one time and I was like, man, I forget the name of the second album, but I was like, what? Man, that album was dope, man. He just looked at me like
Well,
he obviously didn't want to talk about it or something.
are
All
you
right.
talking about the Love for Sale one, the second
Yeah,
one? That wasn't.
yeah.
It's an amazing album. I feel
Yeah.
for him. That is like it was a bona fide classic on release. It really tanked. I think it really. I think his career would have been different because that was going to be the second
That
album.
was gonna be the one that was gonna like,
Yeah,
yeah, man.
yeah, it really was. Oh, look at Vanessa. I've lost count. As anytime I see Bilal is playing, I never miss a Bilal show. Yes. Me too, Vanessa. My favorite living male singer. See,
Wow.
you're on the same pool
I
table.
got to give that to my man Rashawn Patterson, but yeah, Bilal just
No, Bilal is the one for me. Like Smitty Rock is saying, Bilal's that dude. That's right. Okay. So I got to give me a little Bilal appreciation love because he's still doing it. And we got to appreciate that. All right, let's turn into the purple world. Nobody told me because I haven't been on social media that much that Jill Jones has a new single out, and I'm so excited. I love it, and so I put it in the accompanying playlist. And if you click on this, it'll take you there. So, have you heard it yet?
I haven't heard it yet. No, I want to.
Yeah. How about people in the chat? Have you guys heard it yet? If not, it's in the accompanying playlist. I hope that you'll check it out. She's in great voice. I love the song, and it gets better and better after repeat listenings, as good songs do. So I hope that you'll check it out. And next, Paisley Park announced a night of musicology celebrating the 20th anniversary of musicology. So like when I do these symposia, I always have to leave out something. And this year I had to leave out musicology. So I'm really happy to see that Paisley Park is doing something. So I'm curious if someone is going to go. Hi, oh yes, Anil. Yes. So I'll put this in the accompanying playlist if it's still online. There's a version of Sister that Bilal did when there was this Carnegie Hall tribute, Prince tribute that Questlove had did. It was such an incredible version of Sister. Love, 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 love that. Love that. I hope you're well. Happy belated birthday to your son. I love those images and how you're rocking your purple sweater every single year.
Year after year.
So, yeah, year after year. It's so beautiful. So thanks for sharing that with us. And so I'm curious, is anyone going to musicology for this March 29th at Paisley Park? I would love to go, but I also want to go to Celebration, and that's going to cost a pretty penny. So I can't swing it, can't swing both. So I hope that some of you will go and support musicology.
Man, I know this is a broken record, but y'all can offer up a streaming link and
Yeah.
I'll gladly pay and be able to watch it from home and support and experience it as well, for those who can't get there.
I love that idea, Michael. I wish, actually, I was thinking about that the other night for Bilal, because he actually did, even though I wouldn't have been able to get home in time for the second set. He did 2 sets back to back. And I was thinking, one, they could have live streamed it. 2, they could have archived it and you could, have it on demand or something like that. Or they could do it church style. Like it's some churches, when you hear the preacher, as you're walking out the door, you can actually purchase the cassette of the sermon. So like, imagine if you went to a concert and then right out the door, like they give you like, I don't know, a CD or a little digital thumb drive, digital thumb drive, but people could copy it real quickly. But I think that would be a really great thing to do. Oh, wow. I didn't realize this, Anil Dash. Thank you so much for this. You're schooling me. So Carnegie Hall tribute was masterminded by Michael Dorff, who owns City Winery. Their whole family are Big Purple fans, and that's why Pete did a bunch of shows at their clubs. I never knew this. Thank you so much, Anil, for that information. That's really important. And I don't know if you came in, but we were just talking about Bilal at City Winery. So everything is connected. Yeah, so actually JJ loves Prince. This is a really good point, because actually when Sunny T was on Funkatopia's podcast, which I have a link on here as well, and it's in the accompanying playlist, someone asked if Sunny T would live stream their upcoming performance, and he said that the sound would have to be right. And so that's probably not going to happen, because there's going to be there's always some issues with sound. Let's see. And let's see, maybe you should too consider, because maybe you two should consider hosting your own symposium, because you two are important within this context. Not quite following. You have to say more about that. And then Anil is saying, every time you want it, it'll be live like a computer. When it's over, press save. Yeah, I would love that. And almost like in the tradition of the Grateful Dead, like all the Grateful Dead shows are recorded by somebody, because they had such a following and were open to that.
Yeah, kids are live streaming every night, every day. I think we can do it. But I guess.
You're right, Michael. You just got to get some youngins in, and they'll show you how to do it.
Yeah, I'm like.
Yeah, I won't go down that road, but I just like, we're in 2024 and we can't live stream like live shows, and yeah. Okay. So next Saturday, I will be speaking at PopCon. And so if you're in the LA area, please stop by. The PopCon conference is free. And I'm excited that Wendy and Lisa is one of the keynotes. I didn't know this. It was just announced, so I'm very excited. But also George Clinton is one of the other keynotes. So if you're in the LA area, I hope that you'll come out. And in addition to me, I know Rhonda Nicole, who participates in a lot of my symposia, will also be participating. And Kirsty Fairclough, who also is one of the regulars with my symposia, and also the person who did the very first Prince conference in Manchester ever, will also be there. So there will be some Prince people and some Prince related talks there, because Kirsty, I think, is talking about box sets in particular and some of the Prince box sets. So I hope that you will come out. Oh, I love that. I didn't even notice that. I love that. Thanks for pointing this out, Chris Barnett. Love how that photo when Lisa recreates their pose from the Purple Rain poster. Yes. Well, just, Lisa being behind. All right. And so this is an upcoming show that I hope that some of you guys will attend in Minneapolis. Michael Bland, Michael B, and Sunny Thompson on April 20th in Uptown. So get your tickets. Again, go to the slide deck, click on it. It'll take you where you can buy some tickets. And Anil is saying Timothy Ann, who's interviewing Wendy and Lisa, is the real deal. So I look forward to it. And anybody going to this show? Because I would love to go, but I was telling Michael I don't like flying. I'm already going to California, and I'm gonna lose some years off of my life from the anxiety from flying there. And we're coming up to that, Dorothy Edwards. So just hold on. If you can hold on for 1 minute, we'll get to the dates. Michael Bland and Sunny T were on Funkatopia, and it's super rare to have Sunny T talk to anybody. So I was really excited to hear that they were talking to Funkatopia. So got to give a shout out to Funkatopia for making that happen.
Yeah.
And then Law is doing an amazing Prince tribute show. I know it's going to be amazing because Law is such an explosive live performer. If you've never seen Law perform live, April is going to be your opportunity to do so. So I hope that you guys will come out to support Law. And his performance is going to be on Thursday, April 11th at the Triad Theater on 72nd Street. It's actually a day before the symposium, so it lines up really nicely with those of you who may be coming in from out of town for the symposium. So definitely get your tickets. So again, if you click on the link, the slide in the slide deck, it'll take you directly to where you can purchase your tickets. This is Law's event. It's not affiliated with the symposium, but it ties right in. It's like a nice setup. So I really appreciate Law for scheduling it to come right before. All right. And then the symposium and the dates, Dorothy, are April 12th through 14th, 2024. And there's a bit.ly link if you do bit.ly/erotic-city40, or you just go to eroticcity.polystylite.com. We'll get you there as well. Or if you click on any of the images in the slide deck, it will also take you where you can register. It's free. It's going to be also live stream. Everyone keeps asking this live stream. I put it right up in the first sentence that no one's reading that it's going to be live stream, but it's going to be live stream because I tried to let you guys know that. And I'm glad to hear that I'm not the only one. Thank you, Chris, for letting me know you understand my pain. It's claustrophobia. It's all sorts of things. So I only fly when I absolutely have to. So I keep them to a minimum. All right. I can't be singing according to that guy. All right. So there is Celebration, which I'm looking forward to, June 20 through 24. It's going to be 5 days this week. So there's a lot. Obviously, this year is an important year because it's 40 years of Purple Rain. I think there's going to be a lot of, not just celebration, but I'm sure in your respective cities, there will be all sorts of dance parties and all sorts of events and whatnot. Thank you so much, JJ Loves Prince, for looking forward to the Erotic City 40 Symposium. No, so this is a good question, Blade Brown. It's not going to be an interactive forum because it's hard to do two things at one time. So we're going to be in person, and it's just going to be it's a literal live stream. It's not going to be interactive. So, but you can participate on social media and making sure that you use the hashtag, which is Erotic City 40 for 40 years of all of these albums, including Purple Rain and the movie. But the one that I'm really looking forward to, which is going to be virtual and interactive, is the Com 30 Virtual Symposium. Com is one of my favorite Prince albums. I don't think it gets the love that it deserves. And so I am very excited about this. And I know Kanisa Williams, aka Darlene Nisi, is too. So if you can't swing with us for Erotic City, I hope that you will make Com 30.
Wow.
All right. And so this is, yeah. So there are a lot of extra things in the playlist this week. I'm going to go back and add some more stuff like Bilal Singh Sister. And there was something else I was supposed to add that I've forgotten, but I'll figure it out. Yes, Chris, there are a lot of Prince milestones this year. Yes, Maria Solo is my favorite song off of Come. So I'm so happy.
Is it really?
It is.
Interesting.
Yeah, it really is. I love Solo. It's in it.
Solo. Stop it. Nah, I'm just.
It is beautiful. The reason why I love Solo is that one is a cappella, and you just focus on Prince's vocals. And I also, even though he didn't write this, it's based on a poem. I love the lyrics to Solo, and I feel it.
Okay.
So that's me.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
it.
All right. So we are at the end of What Did Prince Do This Week? And next week will be week 10, and we will be reading a little small read, 288 to 293. And take us out, Michael Dean.
Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you so much for allowing us to come into your device or your TV every Saturday morning. We love the energy coming back to us every Saturday. So we're just going to continue doing this. As we said earlier, please like and subscribe, whatever respective links that you're on, but let other Prince fans know that every Saturday morning, we all get together and read this beautiful book right here and have a good time as a family. So, with that said, have a great rest of your weekend. Work it like a job. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Yes, I can't get my. Yes, I agree, Mila. I want to see Solo performed as a ballet. Work it like a job. We out.